Hello everyone, so today we're going to be taking a look at perennial plants that are perfect for beginners. These plants will tolerate a wide variety of different conditions and they aren't too fussy either. They won't require you to do lots of pruning and other things that you would typically expect more of professional gardeners. So for anyone who's just kind of starting in their gardening journey or doesn't really know too much about gardening, then I think these sort of perennials are absolutely perfect. I have all of these in my own garden, of course, and I absolutely love them, so I hope you will too. By the way, if you're new here and you do love gardening content, then definitely consider subscribing. I would love to have you on the channel, and let's jump straight into this. Now, my first one is the beautiful Geum Totally Tangerine. You can see I have a little row of them here. It's not actually flowering as vigorously as it usually would. In fact, it would have tons and tons of stems at the start of spring. But this plant is great. First of all, it's really good ground cover. As you can see, it fills out this space really, really nicely. But also, this plant will just keep going from basically spring all the way until the end of summer, pretty much, which is very rare for plants. So, this has a fantastically long growing season. It's got a really stunning color. It works really well, I feel, with sort of purpley plants. Really, really nice combination there. Yeah, it's lovely. Now, what you do is once the flowers fade, you go right to the bottom of the stem, right to the ground. Leaf just fell off as I did that. And then you deadhead it. So, yeah, this part is really easy. I know a lot of people, when it comes to deadheading, they might think, okay, what's the best way of doing it? Do I need to cut here? Do I need to cut there? All you need to do is go right to the bottom of the stem. So just take the whole stem off and new ones will come up. That's how simple it is. You don't have to worry about going snip here, snip there. That won't actually do anything. So, yeah, ideally, just take it right at the bottom. This is a fantastic plant. Like I said, at this time of the year, it doesn't have too many flowers because I did cut a lot of them back because they all died. But that's why you deadhead it, because it'll keep coming up again and again. And I just think it's absolutely fantastic. I would have it in my garden every time. Next, we have the beautiful Nepeta Walker's Low. And I have three here, really small one that I just planted. You can see what they look like when you kind of get them from a nursery or something. They're pretty small, but very quickly these things will grow and, take up a lot of space. So it really depends on the variety. There are some that are a bit more sort of carpet forming and a bit more lower growing. For example, those are called Persian Blue, and I believe there's another one called Kit Kat. These ones here, however, which bush out a bit more and do get a bit bigger than this, but also flower vigorously, are called Walker's Low. And, they tolerate most types of soils. They like sunny conditions, but they'll also tolerate partial shade. That's what I've got out here at the front. They're absolutely fantastic. I mean, I've got so many in my garden, and they're also loved by insects. Usually, these are the sort of things that are covered in insects the most in my garden, pollinators, which of course we want. So, yeah, I absolutely love Nepeta, one of my favorites. Keep in mind, these have just been cut back, so they're not going to look their absolute best yet, but they're just starting to flower again, as you can see, and they'll get even bigger than this and kind of fill out a bit more. So yeah, if you want one that's a bit bigger, a bit bushier, get Walker's Low or Six Hills Giant. If you want one that is a bit more compact, then maybe go for Persian Blue or Kit Kat. But yeah, Nepetas are really great. I absolutely love them. Definitely one of my favorites in the garden. Now, if we come up here and we head up the pathway this way, I'm going to go for Alchemilla mollis next, which is a fantastic self-seeding plant. So it'll sort of find its way around your garden by self-seeding. But it's great because it tolerates shade and it tolerates fairly damp conditions as well, which I know a lot of you might find very useful. Now, Alchemilla mollis is more famed actually for its foliage, these sort of almost lily pad looking type leaves. But I really, really love the yellow flowers that it's got on it. I feel like they remind me of, like fields when you see like meadows and stuff. So I just think they're really, really pretty. So yeah, I absolutely love Alchemilla mollis. Like I said, it does self-seed a lot. So you might find this popping up again and again throughout your garden. So if that's something you don't like, maybe avoid. But I think that's great personally because it's free plants. And how can you say no to free plants at the end of the day? So yeah, this is one that I personally really, really love. And like I said, I wanted to include some that tolerate different conditions. This one likes shade, obviously. So a really fantastic one in my books. Definitely a favorite that I would recommend to beginners. You don't have to really deadhead it either. you can sort of leave these flowers up and let them, be interesting, and that's fine. It's probably not going to flower again. So yeah, I think it's a really great one. Here we have Verbena bonariensis, which has become a very famous perennial in the last few years. Now, this one is famed because, well, two reasons. It's incredibly tall, as you can see. It's over 6 foot, well over 6 foot at this point. And also, it's a great self-seeder, so lots of free plants. In fact, this one, you could maybe argue, might be too much of a good self-seeder because it does go literally everywhere. I probably dug up maybe 50 seedlings from it this year, and there's probably more that I could dig up. But it is fantastic. Pollinators absolutely love it. So butterflies, if you want to attract them to your garden, and bees, they love this one. I guess because of how tall it is, it gives them a bit of security. In the wintertime, it's got good structure, so it'll sort of provide you with a bit of interest in winter, which is really nice. And yeah, you don't have to deadhead this. Literally, you never have to deadhead this. It's not going to do anything. Don't bother. All you have to do when it comes to the end of winter is just cut it back to the ground. That's it. So it's that simple. I mean, that's why I love it, because it's great. You don't even really have to stake them either. Like, despite this being so tall, a lot of tall perennials, you have to stake them, of course, so that they stand upright. I have to do that tons throughout my garden. But this is kind of an exception. It's pretty upright on its own. And especially if you've got a big group of them like I do here, which is maybe about 5 plants, I think, in total. Um, you don't have to stake them. So yeah, it's really, really fantastic. I absolutely love Verbena bonariensis. It's definitely become one of the sort of most popular plants, I feel like, in gardens, and there's a good reason. As I said, some people aren't a huge fan of the fact that it does self-seed so readily, which can be a bit of a problem if you're constantly digging it out of your lawn and digging it out of your pathways, which, yes, does happen. It will self-seed literally anywhere. But there's an advantage to that at the same time. Free plants. Next, I'm going to go for the beautiful geranium Dreamland, which actually does need to be cut back a bit. As you can see, it's started to go leggy. But to be fair, most hardy geraniums are very low maintenance and perfect for beginners for several different reasons, really. First of all, they flower vigorously and they don't really need deadheading. In fact, it's better to kind of cut them back rather than deadhead them, which is a lot easier in my estimation. It's a lot easier to just fully cut something back than it is to go one by one deadheading it. But also, they have such a long flowering season. It's been flowering for months. I'm going to now, sort of the end of June, start of July, I'm going to cut this right back. And what that's going to do is then give it a much nicer form, and it'll flower again before the end of summer. So it's that easy. You don't even have to be specific for how you cut it back. Just cut it all back, and trust me, it'll come back. So it's a perfect one for beginners in my books. And yeah, there's so many different types of geraniums with different colors, mostly pinks, purples sort of colors. But yeah, a great variety. I mean, this one here is a sort of lighty pinkish color, but I've got the dark purple Roseanne. I've got a very pink one called Wargrave Pink. So yeah, I absolutely love hardy geraniums. I think they're some of the best beginner perennials you can possibly have. Not really, much you have to do with them at all. They're lovely. How about a beginner grass whilst we're here? So this is Calamagrostis Carl Forrester. This beginner grass is great because, one, it'll get pretty big, as you can see, and fill out a lot of space. It's very natural looking, so it's lovely. It pairs well with a lot of these types of plants I've mentioned in the video. And also, it's fantastic because, again, no real maintenance needed. So for a beginner, you don't have to worry about staking it really. You don't have to worry about, deadheading it or anything like that. All you have to do is leave it up the entire winter. When you get to the end of winter, cut it back to nothing. Cut it all back to the ground. It'll come back and thrive each year. So very low maintenance grass, which I think is lovely. And, it's always good to include different types of plants, I feel like. So we've not just got the same ones repeated, but yeah, I absolutely love this grass. It's really, really great and one I would definitely recommend. So those were some of my absolute favorite beginner perennials that you have in the garden. Please do share some of your suggestions down in the comment section, as I would love to hear. And let me know how you're getting on in the garden at the moment. How are things going for you this growing season? If you made it to the end, also don't forget to subscribe, and I would love to have you.